Hi, this is Carl from Small Biz Tots, and this is another SOP video for managed service providers. Today I want to talk about a checklist for major scheduled maintenance. Now, just as a side note, this is other than monthly maintenance. We got all kinds of stuff where I've already talked about monthly maintenance. This is about other stuff, and by major, I mean it either does or could affect many people at your client's office. Let me give you a couple examples of this. So let's say that you're going to update a network card on the server, or you're going to team network cards on the server. Well, in that case, there's going to be at least a little bit of time when the server is not going to be available. Let's say that you're doing updates to a router or a firewall. People might have a period where there's no access to the internet, right? Those kinds of things can have a big effect on everybody in the office. Another one would be updating the SQL database on a major line of business application, right? Anything that's going to have a broad effect on your clients. One of the most important things that you do in this situation is you educate the client. Here is exactly what we're going to do. I always like to remind people that whether it's true or not, doctors believe that you have less stress if they tell you exactly what's going to happen, right? So they go into excruciating detail of what's going to happen. I'm not sure you need to do that, but you do need to give the client the answer to the biggest question they have, which is how much downtime can they expect? Now, I would note, one of the most important things you have to keep in mind is the golden hours. The golden hours are the hour before they get to work in the morning, the hour after they leave at night, and in some cases, if you're on site, the lunch hour when you can say, look, I'm just going to kick everybody off from noon to 1. In the morning or the afternoon, you may be able to do many things remotely, or you may need to go into the office, have one of your technicians show up to work an hour early or stay work an hour late, and be there when most of the people are not at work at the client's office. That's a golden hour because you can still say that you're doing it during normal business hours and not charge them if it's maintenance that's covered under a managed service contract. For us, normally, if it's outside of normal business hours, we do charge for that labor. But if I have a technician just show up an hour early and leave an hour early for one day, I'm not going to charge the client extra for that. Same thing if they stay late for a day. So remember the golden hours. The important part from the client's perspective is knowing when they're going to be down, knowing when they're going to have an outage, even if it's for 5 minutes. Nobody wants to be surprised. So just give them knowledge that's useful to them and helps them feel comfortable that you actually know what you're doing. A lot of the maintenance for this sort of thing can be planned in advance, right? Nobody has an emergency update to a router, very rarely anyway. Nobody teams NICs as an emergency procedure, right? So if you're going to do that, if you're going to upgrade a SQL database, those sorts of things, they are maintenance and they can be scheduled. So it's very helpful to have enough of an email trail that you could say to the client, we told you that there would be this update coming in, whatever the month is. And so a month out, we want to set up the time to do this, remind them that we're going to be there next week, remind them that tomorrow we're going to show up, give them lots of opportunities to send communications to their employees. Always remember that what people hate about tech support from Dilbert and other cartoons is really typified by very large organizations where nobody knows what's going on. There's no excuse for that to happen in small and medium business. If somebody's only got 100 employees, there's no excuse for them not to educate their own employees that you're going to be on site and the SQL server is going to be down for 25 minutes right before noon, right? Whatever the arrangement is, you should be able to get that messaging through to the client, and they should be able to get it through to their end users. So make that happen. You need to take charge of that situation. And I talked before about dealing with vendors. Whenever a third-party vendor is involved, you need to be the one that coordinates between your client and their vendor. You are the one who speaks both languages. You know what the client needs, you know the nerd speak that the vendor wants. So you can make that happen, and you can probably make it happen a lot faster than the client, but you have to take charge of that situation. Now, whether or not it's billable, that's a different story. We've covered that in other places, but you need to cover maintenance as long as they have a contract with the vendor. If it's totally an add move change, then it's totally billable as far as I'm concerned. So in terms of creating an SOP for executing scheduled maintenance on major things, part of what you also have to do is have a closed loop process. You need to make sure that you tell the vendor or whoever you're working with, okay, we think we're done, keep this ticket open until the client has verified it. Then you tell your primary contact at the client, have everybody log back into the system, have them all test every feature that they use on a regular basis. Because I don't want to be driving away and 3 minutes down the road get a call that nobody can print or that this feature doesn't work. So make sure that you test everything, and then you have to close the loop with the vendor and say, everything is good, the client says everything is fine, you may now close that ticket. Remember, vendors get paid by closing tickets really, really fast. Their tech department is not the same as yours. Their tech department is 1,000 people sitting in a building answering phones with a stopwatch to close tickets as quick as possible. Here's what you have to do: not care about their problems, right? Their job is to close it as fast as possible. Your job is to give your clients the best service possible. So create a process that is focused on your clients, not on their vendors. One final important safety tip along these lines: you have to control people who are heroes within your own department, because they're going to want to go in there, fix the problem, close it as quick as possible, move on. And again, that's just not always in the client's best interest. Sometimes there's a great deal of value in one of my absolute unbreakable rules of service delivery, and that is slow down, get more done. Take your time, do it right, document it like crazy, and only close that ticket after the client has said that they're happy. For Small Biz Thoughts, this is Carl Polachuk, wishing you the best of luck in your managed service business. Here's your checklist for this video. Like it, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post new videos, share it on your favorite social media, and if you haven't checked out SOP for SMB.com, go visit our website.